everyone. Welcome to the Goway Industry Insider webinar series. Today, we are discussing the Philippines. Now, I'm hoping some of you out there listening in today have done our Goway Pro Travel Academy Philippines module, which was launched about, I think 2 or 3 months ago. So it's somewhat relatively new. And what you will find, if you have done it, you should remember this. And if you haven't done it, you will see this, that there is a theme that runs through our training on the Philippines. And that is that it has 7,000 plus islands that make up the nation of the Philippines. And today we're here to talk about the 7,000 plus islands of wonder of the Philippines. And we have it today in two sections or two parts. We are going to have a presentation, firstly, by the director of the Philippines Tourism Board, Maria Corazon. Maria, where are you based? Are you coming to us from the Philippines, or are you in New York? Where are
I'm
you?
here in New York,
You are in
Don.
New York,
Thank
where a lot of head
Yes.
offices, the tourism board head offices are on the East Coast, that is. And part two will be by Philippine Airlines. And representing Philippine Airlines for us today is Alan Koo, and he's the commercial manager for the Philippine Airlines. I believe you look after the Canadian market. Is that right, Alan?
Correct, yes. And I'm based in Vancouver.
Oh, okay, based in Vancouver. So you have an East Coast and a West Coaster. Even though Alan is looking after the Canadian market, he will speak to the US side, I guess, in gateways and stuff as well. So, as I mentioned, and as the LMS Academy reflects, there are 7,000 plus islands in the nations of the Philippines. Now, I won't get into too much detail here because both Maria and Alan will talk their respective parts of the Philippines world and get into the ins and outs, literal, how to get in and out of the country, how to get around the country, what makes up these 7,000 plus islands. So as mentioned, let me pass it over to Maria, again, the Director of Philippines Tourism based in New York, and she will talk about the country and the islands itself. Then we'll move over to Alan to talk about how to get to and from and around, and then we'll come back with some questions and answers. So on that note, please, over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Don, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd say mabuhay. You know, when we say mabuhay, it means welcome, and you will often hear this said by our hotel staff, which means mabuhay, you're welcome, and we're glad that you're here. So I'm glad that you're here, and as Don said, we will do some country visiting on the Philippines. Now, why the Philippines? These are the summary I'm giving you already, and let me read it. First, leading destination in Southeast Asia, that's the Philippines, and very accessible, affordable with premium value for money. We have a lot of award winning destinations and diverse products and service offerings. Of course, unique and colorful culture. That includes our people. And most of all, recently we added this. The Philippines is geographically distant from the tension in the Middle East. Now, again, why would you recommend the Philippines to your client? First, I'd like to emphasize that many of our popular destinations are globally recognized with award winning or award prizes or recognitions they got from global award giving body like Boracay Island was awarded as world's leading luxury island destination in 2025 and frequently ranked among Asia's best islands by Condé Nast. Palawan, specifically El Nido and Coron, is most recently recognized by BBC. As a top beach destination, and the famous World Travel Awards based in UK for its biodiversity and stunning lagoons. Now also Philippines remain as a leading destination in Southeast Asia. Why we're saying this? Because most of North Americans visiting Southeast Asia, there are many. We have the most number of arrivals from this region. And of course, speaking of accessibility, and I believe my partner here, Alan Koo, will discuss with you the flights, but just to give you some overview of this. Coming from the West Coast, there are about three of 12 to 14 minutes of hours flying time. And basically, the West Coast is 15 to 16 hours ahead in terms of time. And in the East Coast, coming from the East Coast, typically on a direct flight like Philippine Airlines, that's about 15 hours of flying time to about 18. And normally from the Philippines to um, the US or Canada, it's within the jet stream. So it's a shorter flight rather than the return flight. In the East Coast, there's the time is 12 to 13 hours ahead of the Philippines. So it's like if it's 2 o'clock now in the New York, it's 2 a.m. in the Philippines during the daily say EST. Now, popular destination. Oh, I see the flights here we have several flights, and as I mentioned, we have Philippine Airlines as our direct flights coming from key cities, and Alan will discuss all the their flight details. And the other, of course, via Asia, like Korea, Incheon, and Hong Kong, Cathay Pacific. We also have flights either from Haneda and Tokyo via Japan Airlines and ANA, and of course via Taipei. So aside from this, we do have a lot of accommodations that are of premium quality but affordable price. So Goway will be able to provide you all the list of this, and it's they have a lot of that in their portfolio. Now, we have our popular destinations: Manila, Boracay, Palawan, Cebu, and Bohol. All of that. And Siargao is a fast coming destination as well for the Americans. But before I go one by one to some of these destinations that are being offered under the Go Way tour products for the Philippines, let me just tell you quickly. Don says there are 7,000 islands, but to be exact, there are 7,641 islands in the Philippines that makes us an archipelago, and 2,000 of that are inhabited by human, of course. Now, we are the fifth longest coastline in the world. That's approximately 22,549 miles because we are an archipelago. Now, we do have the Philippines is divided into three clusters. The blue one that you can see is the blue colored clusters of islands is called Luzon. The ones at the center colored yellow in the map is the Visayas, or we say the Central Philippines. At the third cluster we call Mindanao is a colored maroon in the map. So we have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Now, going to our destinations, we have Manila as the capital of the our capital and the premier gateway of the Philippines, and it is an economic, political, and cultural hub. Now, Manila is known for its rich history and a blending of Spanish and American with Asian influences. And it's home to a lot of attractions, including famous UNESCO sites of San Agustin Church and the historical walled city in Intramuros. And as you can see, a modern background, that's the shopping and commercial district of the Bonifacio Global Center in Makati, we call the BGC. Now, For our next one is we have Boracay. As I already mentioned, this is an award winning destination. It's a tropical island with powdery white sand beaches and a clear blue water and vibrant sunset. Now, it has attracted tourists from all over the world, and they come to Boracay for island hopping, for snorkeling during the daytime, and of course, they have clips there, and they can do like beach diving. And at nighttime, there is they love to party and do visit the bar, and they just go around the islands, and you don't really need to take an Uber to go around because you can just walk in within the island. And what is known, it's really famous for its powdery white sand. You can walk barefoot on the ground, and your feet will not hurt. Now, next is Cebu. I'm mentioning Cebu as a city that's the second premier gateway of the Philippines, and our there are a lot of also flight connections in Mactan International Airport. And famous for Cebu is its festival. It is also rich in history with a very colorful and rich in Spanish colonial history. And because of that, they have a famous festival every third year of January called Sinulog. So this is an annual thing that your clients um, can look forward to if they come to Cebu on a January. So it's third Sunday of the month of January. So Cebu is also famous for its beaches, for diving, and of course its cuisine. And the last one that I'd like to mention is Bohol. Bohol is another province. It's in the Visaya, the central Philippines, and it is a geological wonder. In fact, it is a UNESCO Global Geopark, famous for its 1,776 chocolate hills that is covered with green grass during the month of June until January, and it turns brown like chocolate kisses during February until May. So these chocolate hills, the size is about 98 to 164 foot, and the entire 1,776 chocolate hills span like 520 square foot. It's spread all over. So there's also an international airport in Panglao, that's in Bohol, and of course the domestic flights from Manila. Now, I will show you briefly the different itinerary of Goway. Hopefully, this one can entice your clients. So for a around 10 days tour package, there of course the main gateway is Manila. Our airport is called Ninoy Aquino International Airport with four terminals for international and domestic. And then you can see there the old walls of Intramuros. So that's of course that's why I said it's rich in Spanish history. So it stands. It was built during the 18th century until now. It's still there and as a leading tourist attraction. So after that, 3 to 5 days, on the third day, your clients will go to Boracay and relax on the famous pristine white sand shores of Boracay. There are a lot of things to do, but this one is they will enjoy swimming in crystal clear waters, and of course they can rejuvenate with premium luxury spa treatment. On the 6th and the 10th day, your client can also visit Cebu and enjoy this mouth-watering lechon. That's that's a whole pig, suckling pig, roasted to perfection. And Cebu is known for that. And afterwards, they can go on a day tour. They can go to Bohol, which I mentioned a while ago with the famous chocolate hills. And of course, it's also known for the tarsier, the oldest primate in the world. And it's as tiny as a palm of the hand. And it can rotate its neck 360 degrees. Now, your client will also have a chance to do a river cruising and have lunch on this night's boat. Of course, uh, the other things that they can do in the Philippines is diving if they're into diving, and Cebu is also known for Moal Boal and the Sardine Run, which is the really big collection, school of fishes and very nice corals. They can also do golfing in Manila and also in Cebu and even in Boracay. And aside from that, your clients can also, um, of course, enjoy the different culture and its culture of our the country, and of course our cuisine, and most of all, the generosity, hospitality, and friendliness of our people. Now, it's also good. We also have a lot of other activities to do while vacationing in these three islands. We also are known for our own brand of wellness, Filipino brand of wellness, and we call it hilot. Our hilot massage. Your herbs, and they put on herbs on you, and you are wrapped with banana leaves while the masseur would do the massage in you. Of course, also the Philippines is also good for incentive market. You can also, if you're into the mice or the meetings incentive convention and exhibition, we are known for this, and it's impeccable service by our mice providers. Now, for your general leisure, what's the best time to go to the Philippines? The Philippines is an all year round destination, but I would strongly recommend coming to the Philippines around October until May. That's the dry season. And June, July, August, you can expect a lot of monsoon rains over, but not in the entire island. Some islands frequently visited by the monsoon, like in Manila and the parts of Luzon. Now, right now is value for money because US dollar is around $60 to um, one US dollar is equivalent to 60 pesos. And of course, our volt electricity is 220 volts, 60 hertz. Now, general information, it's visa free for both US and Canadians for 30 days. But your clients need to have 6 months. The passport has to be 6 months valid, and to have a return ticket to the country of origin or the next country of destination. And those who coming in to the Philippines need to register to etravel.gov.ph within 72 hours prior to arrival. This is to facilitate uh, their entry, and it's already to have a to register in the immigration. Now, for contact details, I see you see it in my slides. Our contact in New York, that's me, Maria Corazon. Some other people call me June June, and that's my contact there. And of course, our tourism director from Los Angeles, and who is also handling San Francisco, that's Jerry Banga, and the contact details for them as well is there. And we also handle, like on my side, we also handle New York handles the eastern part of Canada, while San Francisco handles the western part of um, Canada. Okay, and so That's it. And I hope that you learned something from this brief presentation. And to continue my presentation would be our partner, our beloved supporter, Philippine Airlines, Mr. Alan Koo.
Sorry, just before we get into the Philippines airline presentation, I just want to point out a few things that Maria brought up there. Um, One thing that's very close to Goway is the Philippines because we actually have a very large office in Manila ourselves. So not only do we sell the country as a wonderful destination down in Southeast Asia, but it's also very close to our heart because we have about, I think, 300 to 400 employees in and
Oh,
around Manila whom we speak to every day. In fact, just prior to this webinar recording, we had our weekly meeting and we had about three of our people from Manila talking to us. So again, to go away, other than the joys of the country itself from a travel point of view, it's very close to our heart from a business point of view. Now, I did not know, well, I probably did know in when I did my academy, but we say 7,000 plus islands, but as Maria pointed out, 7,600 and something. So that's a lot of a lot of islands, of which only 2,000 are inhabited, which goes to show you that there's a lot of unexplored areas of the country to be visited. And as a segue to that statement, both from myself and Maria, is that when you look at a country to visit, 9 times out of 10, they are not made up of so many particular islands or being an archipelago, as Maria said as well. So that goes back to the support that you'll get from the Philippines Tourism Office and also, of course, Philippine Airlines, but also from Goway through our training as well, because by the fact that it is so many islands, it makes it, I don't want to say difficult, but somewhat more challenging maybe to learn about geographically. Things like Australia is somewhat straightforward. It's one big island, continent, um, and it's somewhat easy to picture in your head, at least getting around it, coastal, that type of thing. But the Philippines, by its geographical makeup and nature, is a lot more challenging to understand because of the different island groups, geography, geology, all that type of thing. So that's just a throwback to, please, if you haven't studied the Philippines or don't know very much about it or nothing about it, please go to the Travel Academy to look up the module on the Philippines. Now, over to Alan, who is going to tell you how to get to this wonderful country, archipelago, via the national carrier, Philippine Airlines. So please, over to you, Alan.
Thank you very much, Don, and thank you very much, Director Junjun. Uh, um, Greetings to the viewers of this podcast from the Philippines, Philippine Airlines. Just giving you a short history about Philippine Airlines. We just celebrated our 85th anniversary last 15th of March. This makes us the oldest commercial airline in Asia. We were founded in 1941, just briefly after the Second World War. And throughout the Philippine Airlines history, it's always been pointed out the people. The people of the Philippines comprises and makes the heart of the nation. So you always see our tagline, bringing the heart of the Filipinos to the world. So this is where we expound on our service, and you'll see that throughout all our imaging. So our brand of care, Filipino care, is quite well known. There's hospitality and friendship. So we also want to offer a seamless global connection for our returning Filipinos and our visitors. And of course, we're committed to safe, reliable, and heartfelt journeys. Just to give some events or some activities last year, we were named by Cirium as the most online performer for the Asia Pacific for 2025. And the other awards also, we've been recognized by the Apex as a four-star major airline. As I mentioned a while ago, the number one, the most punctual airline in Asia Pacific for 2025. And also, we ranked the second most preferred airline in Southeast Asia. So now getting to where Director Junjun mentioned about the Philippine Islands. So these are some of the most popular, what we call the beautiful islands of the Philippines. We operate our flights out of Vancouver and Toronto to Manila nonstop. Vancouver has a daily service. whereas Toronto has a 3 times a week service. All these are nonstop flights. From Manila, we can connect you to the most popular island destinations. So, Director Junjun had mentioned Boracay. So, we have 7 daily flights out of Manila to Caticlan, which is the airport in Boracay. We also have 4 flights a day from Manila to Siargao, and that's via Cebu. Make a connection in Cebu to go to Siargao. Cebu has 11 flights a day between Manila and Cebu. Also, Director Junjun mentioned Bohol. So we have 4 daily flights from Manila to Tagbilaran, and that's the name of the airport in Bohol. Some other islands in Palawan, there are two major destinations for tourists in Palawan. So, 4 times a day from Manila to Puerto Princesa, which is the middle part of the island. And up north is Busuanga, and that's also via Cebu. And lastly, there's Davao, where we have 11 daily flights between Manila and Davao. So that's the more popular destinations in the Philippines. We do have 36, total of 36 cities in the Philippines where our passengers can make a connection. Now, not only is it for the Philippines, but we can also make connections for passengers who want to do a twin destination, so they can visit, get a deal for 2 for 1, visiting the Philippines and as well as other Asian countries or cities. So they're up north. We have connections that will bring you to Korea. So these are Incheon and Busan. And for Japan, we have Narita, Haneda, Osaka, Nagoya. On a seasonal, we have daily also for Fukuoka and seasonal to Sapporo. For Southeast Asia, we also have connections that will bring you to Vietnam, which is Ho Chi Minh, Da Nang, Hanoi, Kuala Lumpur for Malaysia, Singapore, and Bangkok in Thailand. We also have flights that will connect to Hong Kong and Taipei. So, pretty much around Asia, you can make that connection on one trip. So, these are just some of the itineraries that would feature the connections between uh, the two cities in Canada that we operate from. That's from Toronto and from Vancouver. And then also we are going to be launching new destinations this the next couple of months. Sorry, it's on March 29th. One is to Saipan and to Koror in Palau. So I mentioned a while ago about our flights from Vancouver and Toronto. So our for the U.S. Gateways, we have our flights from Los Angeles to Manila also nonstop, and this is either twice a day or 3 times a day on certain days of the week. We also have a daily flight from San Francisco to Manila. We also have our flights from Seattle to Manila. And so these are the West Coast US the gateways. For the East Coast, we have our New York flight from JFK to Manila. And as well from Honolulu, we have our flights from Hawaii, from Honolulu to Manila. Now we're excited to be using our new Airbus 350-1000. So currently we have one in service and it's operating out of JFK to Manila. And very soon, starting May 24th, we will be using the same Airbus 350-1000 for our flights out of Toronto Pearson Airport to Manila. So we're very excited to launch this new aircraft on this service on the 16th or 16 and a half hour flight from Toronto to Manila. And pretty soon we have actually nine Airbus 350-1000 on order. And very soon we will be rolling out as we receive the aircrafts. We are supposed to receive 4 to 5 this year, and we will roll them over to the West Coast so that our West Coast cities would be using the Airbus 350-1000. So just some of the features of the new Airbus is the revamped business class. So these are the seats for business class. It's still a lie flat bed, and the new features would be the privacy door on every seat, so that our passengers would be able to close the door and have some privacy. Of course, charging points will be there, charging stations. And so for those who want the specifications of the seats, so it's a 212 access. And then here are the seats specifications when it comes to pitch, the width, and the recline. So the seat features are also there, and as well as the in-flight entertainment. So the Airbus 350 has capability of premium economy. So the premium economy has also been revamped. And very soon from the West Coast, when we switch our aircraft from the 777 to the Airbus 350 1000, premium economy will also be available from our West Coast cities. So these are the specs for the premium economy seat. There will be 24 seats on premium economy. And for business class, there are 42 business class seats. And for the regular economy, there will be more seats. There will be 316 seats, and the configuration is 343. And these are the specs for the economy seats. So also available for our passengers are what we call the travel boost. So these are some of the services that we offer. For example, excess baggage, prepaid, and then the MyPal upgrade. So passengers can choose to upgrade the ticket they purchase, maybe from premium economy to business class or from economy to business class, so on and so forth. We also have our own loyalty program, which is called Mabuhay Miles. So Director Junjun had introduced the term Mabuhay earlier. So that is also prominent in our products. So our frequent flyer program is called Mabuhay, and as you can see, there are four tiers. We have the classic, the elite, the premier elite, and our million miler program. You can get more details on these frequent flyer programs on our website. And what's the next chapter for Philippine Airlines? Of course, is we continue to expand our network and our partnership. And talking about partnership here in Canada, our interline or our code share partner is with WestJet. So we code share the WestJet flights out of Edmonton to Vancouver, Calgary, Vancouver. Actually, these are all via Vancouver. So Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Prince George, Victoria. So these are now available on the WestJet code share. And of course, from the East Coast, we have Toronto, Vancouver is also included in the code share. And our interline partner is also with Air Canada, as well as Air North for passengers that are from Whitehorse in the Yukon. So, and with that, I bring to a close to our presentation, and we say salamat and mabuhay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And I'm sure people in the Yukon are glad to hear that they've got some air service to get somewhere. It's such a remote area up around the Whitehorse. So just a couple of things I'd like to a question actually for Alan. Now I don't know if Philippine Airlines has this now. Land Chile or Land Airlines used to have this. I'm not sure if they do actually. But if you flew with Land internationally from North America into Chile and around South America, they had what was called an air pass, so you could get cheaper regional flights on their network, knowing that to get around the Philippines for the most part would be by air, or that's what we advised due to the size and the scope of the country. Do you have such a thing like that if you flew with Philippine Airlines from North America, that using your network regionally, there would be a reduction in those legs of airfare? Do you have something like that, or no?
Not at the moment, Don. We used to have a Visit Philippine Air Pass, but that was shelved when we did electronic ticketing in the olden days when we used to have paper tickets, it was easy
Right.
to have the air pass. But that's something that's always been talked about. But we do have add-on fares that's cheaper than buying the sector, what we call
Okay.
the sector fare.
Okay. So maybe not an air pass by name, but you can get reduced rates by buying through. Okay, that's good to know. Because again, with 36 cities that you can get around and see within the Philippines, air is obviously a key part of any itinerary construction. And the same would go for, as Alan mentioned, some of the we'll term it as stopovers or country combinations that you can do because listening to Alan and the new aircraft coming out of Toronto, 16 hours, it's a long way. You can't argue it. It's a long flight. Um, it's the same, I don't want to say pushback that you may get, but questions you may get about any flight into the South Pacific or Southeast Asia. It is a long way. In North America, we normally say it's a bottle of wine, a couple of beers and a movie, asleep in, and then you're there, be it in business class or economy. Um, so obviously, Philippine Airlines offers the direct flights, of course, but again, stopovers via some of the Asian neighbors. So it's always worthwhile to our travel agent out there, if someone does approach you about the Philippines, of suggesting that they stop in another country on the way down or back, Vietnam, Bangkok, etc. Because again, it's a long way to go. You might also get as much time in the region as you possibly can. So, on that note of air and obviously Philippine Airlines, for those who may not know, Goway is an air consolidator as well, which means we have the direct rates with the airlines. And we can also help you out and in turn your clients if they have an air only request into the Philippines. We have the direct contracts with Philippine Airlines. So we can quote air only if so required for you and handle all your air requirements, be it air only or be it obviously part as a tour package, be it the international and or the regional around the Philippines as well. So on that note, I'd like to thank both Maria and Alan for their time. And before we do say goodbye officially, Maria, is there anything else you would like to leave our travel professional partners out there with about the Philippines?
Yes, please remember the Philippines as a number one destination in Southeast Asia. Please recommend the Philippines to your clients. And I'm sure we have very wonderful and friendly people there. So I'd also like to connect with Goway in the future, in the near future, for familiarization tools for your travel agents. Okay,
Okay, well,
so
I think you've got everyone's interest there, Marie, with the magic fam word.
yes.
Um, so once Maria reaches out to Goway and maybe sets something up, we will then make that known to our travel partners out there of the opportunities. And the same question to you, Alan. Is there anything you'd like to leave our partners with respect, sorry, to Philippine Airlines that you haven't touched on?
I guess I just want to let the viewers know that we do have two sales offices here in Canada. So one is based here in Vancouver, where I'm at, and the other one is our Toronto office. You can reach us by email. So it's just spell out the whole word Vancouver sales with an S at pal.com.ph, P for Papa, H is in hotel. And the other email is Toronto sales at pal.com.ph. And if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll be more than glad to help you.
And Alan, do you know of the location of your US sales offices by chance, just for our US listeners?
We do have offices in all the cities we operate out of. So we have our sales offices in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, New York, and Honolulu.
Okay, so there you go for our US listeners and viewers. One thing I'd like to mention before we do say goodbye is that basically, as what Maria said, Philippines is one of the most popular destinations in Southeast Asia. Most people, I think, automatically would, when they think of Southeast Asia, are going to think of Thailand, Vietnam will be the two big ones. Um, and they should also naturally include the Philippines in that thought process. And I think one of the advantages of the fact that maybe those two other countries go to the top of the list in the average person's mind makes the Philippines an even more attractive destination? Because, well, actually, Marie, you can maybe answer this. Would you say the Philippines is less touristed than some of your bigger, more well known neighbors?
Um, I would say so, because many of them, like Malaysia and Thailand, Vietnam, they're landlocked, so it's easy to go within that peninsula. But the Philippines as an archipelago is quite challenging, but we would say that we get the premium quality tourists, and when they come, they really is bound to do the Philippines and stay for a longer time, because the Philippine Islands, when you see one, you don't see everything. So it's really diverse. So, yes, on that note.
Yeah, and I think that's a key aspect to the destination. It is very diverse due to its geographical spread on the many islands. So, as we know, a lot of our travelers out there, when they come to you and in turn to Goway, they're looking for a destination these days that maybe isn't as popular as before, because people are trying to get away from the crowd. So this is where the Philippines can be a very good option you could present, as an alternative to some of the more popular areas. You have all the pristine beaches, you have the amazing culture, you have the amazing diversity, food. It's all there in the Philippines. It can easily rival its neighbors. So it's a very good. I don't want to say Plan B. It should be a Plan A, but keep that in mind as an option if someone comes to you and says, I'm looking for Southeast Asia, I want something a little bit different for sure, and away from maybe the crowds, then the Philippines will be it for you and your travelers. So, on that note, I will say now, officially, thank you, Maria, and thank you, Alan, for your time today. We appreciate you coming in from the East and the West Coast. And as always, thank you to our travel partners out there, giving us an hour of your time today, because we know how busy you are. And we hope that this webinar has opened up your eyes to the Philippines. And if you want some more information, you can reach out to the Philippine Tourism Board, directly to Maria or regional office, and of course, Philippine Airlines, and all the sales offices that Alan mentioned. And as always, the Goway Pro Travel Academy has a very in depth training module on the Philippines. So, on that note, thank you both for joining us today, and to our partners out there. Until next time.
Until next time, mabuhay.
Thank you very much. Till next time.